We stay in Ekurhuleni and we speak once again to my colleague Mbalenhle Mthethwa, who has been tracking this particular story for us. The mayor being removed in a motion of no confidence. Mbalenhle?
Well, I am standing by with both the EFF and ANC representatives to find out from them what the way forward is. We must also just remind our viewers that the Speaker of Council has managed to survive that no confidence motion, and it's unclear as to what informed the voting decision, as the ANC caucus elected to abstain from the motion of no confidence in the mayor. However, they voted against the motion in the removal of the speaker. We're joined by the EFF here, the provincial chairperson, former MMC for finance in the city of Ekurhuleni. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Some of the ANC caucus members breaking rank. How does that sit with you to see some of your coalition partners, for lack of a better word, breaking rank?
No, well, look, it just signals what we have always echoed as the economic freedom fighters, that it's a slippery slope for the former liberation movement, where the center just does not hold. You know, we've seen that the caucus of the ANC had taken a position to abstain from this particular vote, and with some of their councillors actually defying what ought to have been a organizational position and voting for the motion, you know, in support of the motion that was brought by Action SA. And with one of the speaker, they alluded to the fact that they were not engaged and lobbied, which then signals to us that the motion against the mayor, they've obviously had some discussion and engagement with those who proposed it.
And why did you choose to protect the mayor? Because it seemed as though out of that relationship, you were the only ones who voted to protect the mayor.
In the interest of the city and ensuring that there is a stable government, it was within us as not only a principle but as a duty to ensure that we retain the political authority of what we constituted with the ANC as to what we would call the people's government. You know, the Auditor General on a frequent basis, when they speak of their report, they also to a certain extent engage on the management and also the leadership question. You would have seen that there was just recently the release of a GPI report which spoke and glorified the city of Ekurhuleni in reference to leadership, and that speaks to stability. So the EFF is committed to ensuring that there is a stable government and that there is a government that is constituted that ensures that there is service delivery orientation to the people of Ekurhuleni.
I don't have a lot of time. Two questions. Hopefully you can just, summarize your response to these questions. Are you willing to continue working with the ANC? Is this the end of the road for the ANC and the EFF? And secondly, Action SA says that the reason they even brought the motion forward is because they were not happy with how you were running the portfolio for finance.
Yeah, well, they would never be happy with anything outside of themselves. If the Action SA had any principle, they would have tabled a motion of no confidence against themselves in the city of Tshwane. So that argument does not hold water in any way. You know, the city of Ekurhuleni financially, yes, it can do better, but we have done greatly. You know, outside of ensuring that there is a continuous surplus and ensuring that we are at least able to sustain ourselves financially, should be a plus that we take. Are we ready to continuously have an engagement with the ANC? Yes, it's not something that would throw off at this point, but what would be of difficulty for us is to sit around the table and have a discussion of a composition of a government that part of those would be having a discussion with are those who actually collapsed it.
Okay, thank you so much for speaking to us. We now speak to the ANC's Jongizizwe Dlabati. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. We have have just heard from the EFF saying that they might not be quite as willing to sit in to form part of a government with the ANC. And also earlier when we spoke to Sivuyile Ngodwana, he also seemed very disappointed with the fact that some of the ANC caucus members broke rank.
Firstly, we must indicate that as the African National Congress, we would have articulated in detail about the state of the city, which is troubling to the extent that it undermines our commitment of a better life for all. We are a majority party, we repeat that, with 78 ward councillors, and any collapse on service delivery, any collapse on the finances, and any collapse on the good governance practices points back to the African National Congress. So objectively, we came to a conclusion that there is a need for a change in the institution, a change of which must usher in a leadership that is determined to take forward our commitment of serving the people better. Of course, we will not speak on the views of other political parties. Sometimes when an event has taken place, there are sentiments. All that we are saying as an ANC, there is an opportunity to engage broadly with those that are like-minded, and we believe that process should be given a chance.
Okay. Now, what will happen to the council members who broke rank? Because it would seem as though there was a decision from the caucus to abstain from that motion, and we know that that motion was passed with the help of those ANC caucus members who broke rank.
We must express our condemnation unreservedly so against those that would have broken the rank. In fact, me and the chair, we sit in front, and really we did not have an opportunity to look at the back, only to understand that the results are in a particular way, such that there were few individuals, as alleged, from the African National Congress. We have convened a caucus, we have expressed firmly so that we should not defy the position of the organization. So it becomes an internal matter that we must look at, and I'm sure at the right time the ANC will express itself in terms of what then needs to be done as a recourse to prevent such an incident from occurring in the near future.
So one of the amendments that was brought by the ANC caucus to that motion, no confidence motion in the mayor, was that the party with the most seats, wards, must make up a larger part of the composition of government in the city of Ekurhuleni. Will we see that happening now that the mayor has been removed?
We're a unitary organization. The National Executive Committee of the African National Congress resolved on a coalition management framework. And part of the principle is that indeed the party with the majority of the seat should be given an opportunity to be at the helm of leadership. To that extent, the framework is speaking about proportional representation, which is a fair proposition given the fact that there is no party that has an absolute majority. So the spirit of our proposed amendments, in fact, it was in line with the decision of the National Executive Committee to say that the party with the majority should be given the role.
Okay, so who will be the mayor?
We don't decide who should be the mayor. It's the ANC through its processes that will make that decision.
Okay, there you have it. That is Jongizizwe Tlabati. It remains to be seen who will then be the mayor of the city of Ekurhuleni. Back to you in studio.
All right, Balentla Mthethwa, they bring us the very latest with regards to that particular story. We'll continue to bring you more reaction to the ousting of the Ekurhuleni mayor.